On a different issue, kay sige malagitang browse around Facebook. Doon ay pangutana dia in one of the group discussions nila kung unsa kunoy, I think it was 3 and 5 items which would be considered hot topics of mga batanon kuno din sa Cagayan. This is from the Ignonta, from the perspectives of unsa man makaidugang ni mga bayan na para kanila lugar as their elders lugar kay kani sila, they're just fresh from one lugar, no? From childhood, they're becoming adults, and
unsa man tong ilang priority?
Daghan man to sila, something about identity, something about apathy, something about maybe laziness. So you can tell it's quite personal nila ba dili, rather than looking out of themselves and looking around the city ba. So maybe you can give them some insights on how they should perceive ang ilang kinabuhi lugar, no? Not only sa ilang mga personal issues, but looking around the city. No?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that we can do, together. That's why it's important that the leadership of the city should be able to inspire, not only the old but also the younger ones to do something that is related to our community development. I think that to begin with, it is a question of attitude. For us who grew up in the 60s and the 70s, we were trained to think in terms of not only for ourselves but for others. Especially for us who grew up in the Jesuit education, we have imbibed that core value of man for others. And so we seldom really ask ourselves, what is it for us? But what can we do for others? What can we do for our community?
Now that's a very good point, kay I think that this discussion is originates from Ignonta mga estudyante from Xavier. So you would think that Ignonta automatic na that they think of that
should be, no?
Jesuit motto nga a man or a woman for others rather than for ourselves. No?
Yes. I would expect that they should be have a better understanding of this core value. But kung nagagawas ng laing eskwelahan, we can understand that. In fact, in one of the discussion last Sunday with a group that were doing volunteer work for Noynoy, one of the issues that was raised by one of the guys from outside was, these are our government, what can you do to help us? If this early you start asking what can you do to us, my goodness, this is a tragedy for the country, because the younger generation should be more idealistic than us, who are now in the twilight of our lives. In fact, really, when I decided to run, I was hoping that the younger generation should take the cudgel to run against the established political powers in the city. But apparently, they're all scared of what? About money, lack of resources, organization. And so you end up taking the cudgel for the younger ones. Because if nobody will take the cudgel, kaluoy ba sa aning kasudan?
Dili baka kani sila, all they need is some guidance lagi sa mga elders nila.
Maybe so.
Given the political environment, tingalig they have turned off ang ilang attention kay wala man sila makita sa atong political scene nga ilang ma-admire lugar, no?
Tinuod man, I think that the past years lugar has been a very frustrating experience for a lot of people. It has been for us, di ba? Nabaw na sa ila because they expect more things from our government. And our government really in many ways failed to answer many of the issues that they wanted. One of the tragedies that I have experienced aning atong mga lakaw-lakaw whether here, outside the country, is that our government thinks that it is an honor to get out of the country rather than keep your manpower here and develop it.
Especially the good ones.
The good ones. So I had the privilege to meet some of the Asian people who went to study outside the country when my wife was in New Zealand. And I asked them, first I asked a Thailander, what is your plan after your training here? And she said, I'm going back to Thailand. I said, are you not going to look for a job outside the country? She said, no, because our king told us that only Thailanders can solve the problems of the nation. And so they will go back after they have learned a lot of things outside and share this educational process with those that behind.